Abdurrahman. In this package, we'll be bringing you the very latest from Ghana's Parliament, where both sides of the House have been disagreeing with the passage of the 2022 budget. And news just indicates that the leadership of Parliament are in a meeting to put a final conclusion to the impasse between the two sides on the passage of the 2022 budgets. Sitting began and was adjourned immediately by the second Deputy Speaker, Mr. Andrew Amaku Esiama, on Thursday. Parliamentary correspondent Humu Kulsum Abdullahi joins us in the studio with some details from what happened in Parliament today. Humu, thank you so much for all that you've been doing since the laying of the 2022 budget and following on the proceedings and the many events that have emerged from the government policy since last week, Wednesday. What exactly happened today?
You know, from yesterday, there was an issue as to whether the budget that was passed on Tuesday was legal and should be accepted. And there was a motion subsequently put forward by the minority leader, Mr. Haruna Idrisu, to sort of annul that particular budget. There was a debate. It was endorsed by the Speaker. There was a debate, and when it was time for him to put a vote, he decided to give a ruling. That was basically contrary to the requirements of the standing order. So there was an impasse. It wasn't a nice scene. So later in the evening, leadership went into a meeting. As at this morning, when we got to the premises of Parliament, leadership were still in a meeting. They are trying to find a way to ensure that what happened yesterday, in fact, we heard sources that they had actually promised that what happened yesterday will not happen again. And then they are also trying to find a way to build consensus between the two sides. You know, the minority had 5 issues to do with the budget. That's the EJPA deal, the e-levy, the ACA energy deal, and then I think the government fees and charges. It looks like the 15% automatic increase. It looks like government has found a way to agree on all the other issues except the e-levy. The minority is insisting that they will not take anything above 1%. They are saying that they are ready to accept the budget if only the e-levy is reduced from 1% or lower. So currently that's the issue they are having, because it looks like government is not ready to back down on its amount. In fact, we had rumors that government said the best they can do is 1.5, and the minority is saying no, it's either 1% or lower, or they will not accept the e-levy at all. So that's basically what's happening right now. Leadership are still in the meeting, and you know, yesterday there was another issue with the Speaker openly saying that he's not a Speaker. So the minority is having challenges accepting him back to the chamber. They said that, okay, so if you are not the Speaker, then you cannot act as a Speaker. So if you watch the news yesterday, after he had adjourned, he had gone on a break, and the House was supposed to resume. It was the second Deputy Speaker, Mr. Andrew Esiama, who came in, immediately adjourned the sitting. Today, the media was there. We were all expecting something, because yesterday when they returned, the minority leader was insisting that the Speaker was supposed to put a voice vote to the motion he tabled before the House, and it didn't happen. So today we're expecting something in that regard to take place, but I think the House resumed I think 30 minutes ago, and immediately leadership of both sides suggested that the House should adjourn till Tuesday. So the Speaker said, in fact, leadership said they agreed in a meeting that because tomorrow is Farmers' Day, they want the ministers and the MPs to get to their constituencies ahead of time. So they are adjourning till Tuesday. So today, nothing really happened except the meetings in which they are still logged in. There are also sources that a committee is being put in place, 10 from both sides, to find a way to come to an agreement on the budget between both sides. So currently that's what is happening. We are assuming that the reason they didn't sit is probably they couldn't reach an agreement. But from Tuesday, we'll find out what really they have agreed on.
It seems the impasse is not ending anytime soon. Of course, government, as you indicated, has taken an entrenched position. The minority has also done the same. Yes. So we are waiting to see what Tuesday present us with on this issue. Thank you so much.
Most definitely. Just before I go, there are sources, there are news reports we are hearing that the Speaker, Mr. Alban-Bagbin, says that he objected the budget on Friday, and according to the best of his knowledge, that still stands. So until they agree on something or until he returns, it looks like it will still continue. The impasse will continue.
Thank you so much, Umu, for bringing us up to speed on the budget 2022 and the impasse in Parliament between both sides, the majority and minority. The budget as it stands now is passed because of what happened on Tuesday, the overturning of the more or less what happened last week Friday. But as you just heard from my colleague, the leadership of the House is in a meeting trying to resolve this seeming tension between two sides of the House. And we promise to bring you more on that on Tuesday once sitting resumes. Now, GBC News has been sampling views from the public to the passage of the 2022 budget, while others urged Parliament to resolve their differences. Others also called for a total review of the budgets.
After the presentation of the 2022 budget in Parliament by the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, there's been a long wrangle afterwards. Today we've come to the Osu Oxford Street to get the views and opinions from the citizens.
Opinion about the budget, personally, I think the sitting government should be considerate. Looking at how the country is moving now, everybody is complaining. There is no money in the system and all that. And this e-levy thing, I think when it comes, it's really going to break a lot of people. Already, most people have lost their jobs and all that. Some are in the house, it's Christmas, and it's like nothing is going on in the country.
Things are not going well. The economy is very, very bad. And with the budget and tax that we are about to pay, especially the e-levy, I'll say it's a killer tax.
Omuna omako school edu enim. Kafrata frache meme say no gwasi omudi bre parliament no. In fact, e chiremba no omu nsua o. Penifo no omu nsua baby free o say omu jai e chiremba no boni. The way omu koso ye o parliament no obi nso beba e bia menua bi beba beye. Na oba beye a obi esipen abesi. Inti no baby sa no penifo no mu ye de omu nya boche o parliament. Parliament o nya kola agro na omu di o ho. Eye mra edi chichire ekro. Emra a moko ho a moko shema emani nyina na yanya eputuo ewom.
The parliamentarians, their conduct was totally immature, and he wasn't a good message to the citizens, and it was totally unacceptable by the parliamentarians. Persons of high dignitaries like that showing immaturity in their place of profession. It was totally uncalled for. We were quite disappointed. I mean, we've seen videos of various parliament houses in different countries of their misconduct. Ghana shouldn't be part of that misconduct. It was totally unacceptable, a high level of irresponsibility, and it should be dealt with.
Budget ne dia nyame anim ni. Ghana for buy no do na me amigina ekura me bonyo so, because talking about say e-levy no e buy am why kura nsese obi asende misika na se me kwa akoyi sika na akoye me fa se me de kotade obi ama ne me se me first sika nkokotade me ba na me kwa akoyi a tekus no a charge on beti omo de omu wie aban so se me de me dia asa ato so asa ate na Ghana for ye koya na ase ye bai oma ye timu ye yuti ye nya adwuma nye na nsi akwa vice president oba out be ka ase ye school ayenye de ye mpe adwuma na ye de ye ye manage at the end of the day no se kakra be koya no ntini ye nyina ye de ye bre
the parliamentarians no in fact ye ka so omo boyen they are all selfish people because of say me use the word selfish now if say omo sika they akoto kasa always ubenza no there's no you cannot see opposition unhu NDC na unhu MPP but they do baby a ebe boyen a ho na unhu.
Definitely a misconduct by the members of parliament. It's definitely considered a misconduct because I should think that they should be able to live or abide by the rules in parliament and shouldn't act in any way that is against the rules in parliament. It's a lot.
In some of the day's other stories, the Center for Plant Medicine Research at Ekuapem Mampon in the Eastern region is calling on individuals and organizations to invest in the activities of the center. The scientists believe the facility is capable of contributing significantly to Ghana's healthcare as well as global medicinal trade. From studies, the global market value of medicinal plants products exceeds $100 billion per year, and according to the experts, Ghana is yet to benefit from the trade. This came up at a scientific seminar as part of the 45th anniversary celebration of the Center for Plant Medicine Research at Ekuapem Mampon in the Eastern region. A report by Gifty Ajay.
At the scientific seminar, experts from the Center for Plant Medicine Research at Ekuapem Mampon were at the podium to share with academia their current research project on plant medicines. Their studies researched into the cure for diseases like malaria, hypertension, diabetes, stomach ulcers, among others. Another study which looked at the norms and intentions of nurses towards the clinical use of herbal medicine in Ghana sought to have insight into how nurses perceived herbal treatments for patients who opted for them. Findings from the scientific project included the fact that practitioners in the herbal medicine care are aging and the youth are not showing interest in that aspect of healthcare. In the management of hypertension and diabetes, 4 new plant species were for the first time identified to be potent against the disease. The reaction on how patients on orthodox medication and herbal medicine use, as well as drug efficacy and toxicity, were also discussed. Some of the researchers spoke to GBC News after the seminar.
In order to eliminate issues of toxicity or inefficacy of our products, we produce or we establish standards for drugs. Then when we produce them, we now test them again to see if they conform to the standards.
Right now, all I am doing is documenting the knowledge and the plants used for them. But I am doing it bit by bit. Malaria, I've done malaria, I've done diabetes and hypertension. The next will be skin diseases, which is next to come. But I'm one person, and even the grants to go around and do this is not easy.
The executive director of the Center for Plant Medicine Research, Dr. Bobby Berima, was optimistic that, given the right amount of funding, the center will deliver.
We need funding, massive funding. We have to modernize our equipment and the laboratories.
For Professor Regina Piaupon, immediate funding of the Center for Plant Medicine Research is certainly the way to go. Reporting for GBC News, Gifty Ajay, Accra.
Still in the health sector, prior to 2017, the National Health Insurance Authority could enroll and renew membership processes only at their offices, which had the capacity to work on 11 million cases a year. To make the authority more efficient, the NHIA decided to go digital in 2017. At a forum on digitizing universal health care coverage, the chief executive of the NHIA said the authority can digitally authenticate claims, which has reduced fraudulent claims by health providers.
The National Health Insurance Authority is the only social health insurance scheme in the world which uses all combinations of finances. The finances are from taxes, the payroll and premiums. The scheme prior to 2017 had achieved 40% of active membership, but hit a snag in getting more members on board the scheme. In 2017, the NHIS, with support from an ILO partner insurance facility, decided to use digital means to change the way people register and renew their subscription. At a forum on digitizing universal health care coverage, the chief executive of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Lydia Sani Selby, said the authority, which currently has over 16 million people on board, has improved in efficiency and can now authenticate claims digitally.
We want the people of Ghana to be citizens and not spectators. So not only do we send a message to the provider, which gives them whether the person is active or inactive. If you are inactive, you don't get a code to be able to submit a claim. If you are active, you get a code and the person's details to help you. We also send a message to the member, and it will tell you the hospital that is actually trying to take money in your name.
The executive director of the Christian Health Association of Ghana said good health care can only be achieved if there is affordability to vaccines and quality medication by anyone wishing to access health care.
If you have any financial barrier, you are entitled to high quality, timely healthcare services. And this aligns with Sustainable Development Goals, which is about Goal 3, which looks at good health and well-being.
The country director of Pharmacists Foundation, Dr. Maxwell Entry, said there is a need to leapfrog technology in the attainment of universal health care coverage in Ghana. The forum was part of the Digital Health Week celebrations across the country.
Emergency Dispatch Center has been inaugurated in the Gusau municipality of the Northern Region. The center will serve as a coordination point for referrals among 14 medical facilities in the area to ensure quality health care for patients, particularly expectant mothers and newborns. The initiative forms part of efforts to reduce maternal and infant mortality by providing timely response to emergencies.
The project, known as the Acute Care and Emergency Referral System, is being implemented by the Catholic Relief Services in collaboration with the Ghana Health Service and the National Ambulance Service with funding from the USAID. The Chief Executive Officer of the National Ambulance Service, Professor Ahmed Nuhu Zakaria, lauded the initiative and said it's the first of its kind in the country.
This collaboration has been a success, and it is our hope that we'll be able to replicate it in other regions. We have one in Nkwanta, but beyond the two regions or districts, the hope of the National Ambulance Service, with support from special development initiatives, is to ensure that we replicate this in other jurisdictions or in other districts.
The country representative for the CRS, Mr. Daniel Mumuni, announced that the acute care and emergency referral system will be replicated in 10 locations across the country to boost emergency response in rural Ghana. The U.S. ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie S. Sullivan, said the project is a demonstration of the relationship between Ghana and the United States of America. She used the occasion to call for support towards efforts to end sexual and gender-based violence.
The U.S. government is committed to supporting Ghana to deliver high-quality care for pregnant women and their babies, and to end preventable maternal, newborn, and child deaths. In the words of the late Ghanaian statesman Kofi Annan, children are our future, and their mothers are its guardians.
Now, still in the health sector, the Pantan Hospital has a new child wellness center. This means children with psychiatric conditions will no longer have to queue at the hospital's already crowded OPD for medical attention. The Child Wellness Center is designed to improve on service delivery and access to mental health care for children and adolescents at the hospital.
The Pansang Hospital is one of the 3 mental hospitals in Ghana working towards becoming a center of medical excellence. In order to expand the range of health services to its clients, government, civil society organizations and corporate bodies have supported in diverse ways to improve upon the conditions and the infrastructure of the hospital over the years. One of such support is the new Child Wellness Center. It is located at a section of the Occupational Therapy Department, which has been refurbished into a wellness center. It has 6 consulting rooms, a reception and a washroom. The Deputy Director in charge of administration at the Pantine Hospital, Mr. Collins Kessie, was grateful for the gesture but asked for support to renovate the remaining dilapidated occupational therapy structure. Australia's High Commissioner to Ghana, Mr. Gregory Andrews, said children's mental health care is very essential because there can be no general health without mental health.
Early intervention is essential, and early childhood development is essential, and that's why I'm really pleased and glad that I know the Australian taxpayers will back this project 110%.
The project was funded by Australia's government and implemented by Freedom Aid Ghana.
In the Ashanti region, the Asantehene Otumfuo Saititu has encouraged the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, to launch an investigation into the proliferation of arms in the country. The Asantehene believes this will help minimize the spate of violent crimes, including armed robbery, in the country. The IGP called on him, as tradition demands, to announce the start of his official tour of the region.
This was Dr. George Akufu-Dampare's first official visit to the Menchia Palace since assuming office as Inspector General of Police. The Asantehene Otumfuo Saitutu urged the IGP to work hand in hand with the various personnel within the security apparatus, as well as persons who can volunteer information to ensure sustained peace in the country. He commended the police boss for his hard work since he took office as IGP.
Ethiopia aba man mu a ye ni ho krata enso aba man mu eno nam nipa ne bitimi de kodi bone kobokro no eye den na sa atue ba ye so bi na wo man mu no wo bo bi a mompe no na monhura ye di krabonten so na ba ya enam port ana sa enam border ana sa hnepa wan so na de ye na dwuma a wato bi egu a on de odema nkropo kobokro no edi enti na kromfo ebi gu ba bi na wo bi hunu na so ye ntimi nka wo mu ne ye nete akromfo ye wo ma me ne papa no
The IGP assured the Asantehene that his administration is poised to work assiduously to protect the people and safeguard the peace in the country.
Nana, enti di omu ye no ye ni nyina yi baby omu to sin so wadaroma ontete ye pa enti ye hu ye dane mu se no so be ye na se ye ne ye de kan di omu ye na ye no hu dia ene na okekambo mu a se ye nyuma eye kesese omu.
The IGP was accompanied by some other top police officers, including COP Nathan Kofi Boachi and COP Ken Yeboah.
The New Times Corporation, in partnership with the National Road Safety Authority and the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, have launched a road safety campaign in Accra. It is a joint effort to fight road traffic crashes and casualties in the country.
Road accidents is among the top 10 causes of deaths in the country and remain a major public health challenge. It is to contribute to efforts to fight the menace that the New Times Corporation is partnering with the National Road Safety Authority and the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service. The Managing Director of the New Times Corporation, Mr. Martin Eduusu,
was hopeful that a new bond would deepen as they continue to dialogue on issues of road safety.
As a state-owned media organization with a mandate to inform and educate the public, we firmly believe that we have the moral responsibility to support and intensify the fight against road indiscipline and bring down significantly, if not stop, the number of unwarranted deaths on our roads.
The Greater Accra Commanding Officer of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, DCOP Martin Ayi, said persons who flout road safety regulations will be prosecuted. Madam May Obri-Yubwa is the Director General of the National Road Safety Authority.
We have always said that road safety is a collective and shared responsibility, and the National Road Safety Authority cannot do it alone. We need stakeholders to come together so that we can all fight this canker on our roads.
The launch was on the theme, Road Safety in Ghana, Preserving Lives, Sustaining Our Nation.
In an unprecedented move, the people of Sunyani, led by the Sunyani Development Stakeholders Association, are unhappy about the neglect of developmental projects in the Sunyani municipality. We go live to Sunyani, where Bono regional correspondent John Samata is seeking answers to what has driven an MPP stronghold like Sunyani to express their displeasure to the government.
Park, which seems to be the last straw that has broke the camel's back. Because for some time now, the people of Sunyani have been unhappy with the level of development in the capital city for the Bono region. This led to the formation of the Sunyani Stakeholders Development Association, which was supposed to champion the cause of Sunyani, development of Sunyani. Initially, they were talking about lobbying politicians and other technocrats for them to increase or do whatever they can to ensure that the level of development in Sunyani is appreciable or is speeded up. But now we are hearing talk of them considering a demonstration, and this is rather strange because Sunyani has been in sort of a love affair with the NPP, which is currently in government, over the years. But now we are hearing talk of a demonstration, and our inquiries suggest that talk of renovating the Sunyani Coronation Park, where we are now, instead of building a new stadium, seems to be the last straw that has broken the camel's back. So we are trying to find out what is actually the situation, and we have a key member of the Sunyani Stakeholders Development Association in the person of Ata Akoto Senior. And I want to begin by asking him, Sunyani, I know that you are not happy with what you call the level of the pace of development here in the town. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you very much, Johnny. Thank you to everyone that is also watching. Indeed, Sunyani over the years has suffered greatly because as we have envisaged, things were moving on smoothly for us as a people. But then we saw that at a certain point, everything stalled. We have a project like the Center for National Culture, which is supposed to be something that is supporting us, not doing anything at all, because we believe that we need to unearth talent. We have music artists here and there who need to pass through such places to have the kind of experience required to be able to come out, but nothing is being done. Again, for over 50 years, the Center for National Culture is not working. The government in, government out, they try to touch a little bit and then they go relax. And it is there, the edifice is nicely built and nothing is being done to improve it for proper use. Again, our library, the regional library started before even WA. WA is completed, it's one of the best in West Africa now. But in the case of Sunyani, for 19 years it has stalled, nothing is working. The library is not working. They've only managed a small portion of it, which is being used as the library for the region, which is rather, to me, insulting to the people of the Bono region. It is not happening. Again, even this place that we find ourselves, the Coronation Park, we believe that Sunyani has contributed, Bonoman has contributed so much in terms of footballers and then their input into the national team. The first ever World Cup to touch base in Ghana was won through the captainship of Alesopoku in 1991, and they brought in that particular trophy. But we have nothing to show. Kwesi Wusu was able to lead Ghana Blasters for almost 10 years as the captain of the team. We know the impact of Asamoah. You can name them, Awudi Saka, George Atta, we can call names. These people have all contributed. Just recently, there's a new chap on the block by name Afena Jan. He's evolving from Wenchi. In fact, this particular young man was picked from this particular ground. That's where the scout came to pick him. But we don't see any attempt of government trying to give Sunyani what is due us.
Yeah, but the Sunyani Stakeholders Development Association was put together to lobby for this to change. How is it going on that front? Is the lobbying being effective?
We have done that. In fact, we evolved from Sunyani Youth Development Association. We partnered them. We sent our petition across. And over the years, from the perspective of Sunyani Youth Development Association, over the past 3 years, we have engaged leadership of this city. We come out with press releases, we engage them, we copy them all the time. In none of the instances have we even been called to address some of these.
What about the MP? Have you talked to the MP?
The MP is one person that I can say is never willing to engage us, because for about 7 times that we have invited him, he has refused to show up, even though we knew that he was available in town.
What about the other political leaders, like the regional minister, municipal chief executive?
None has ever responded to any of our issues. None has ever called us. But we kept venting that we need development. The pace of it is so slow, and this snail-paced development is something that we can no longer hold on to. But nobody is listening. We
hear that there's talk that you guys are considering a demonstration. Is that really true?
That consideration is far-reached. Indeed, what is happening is that we believe that we have done enough. Once nobody is listening, then that's the avenue to us through which we need to vent. Maybe some people are not reporting the reality on the ground. Because if someone was doing so, just recently the president, I think somewhere 2017, promised that we would have a police hospital. But not even a word has been mentioned since till date. So we believe that people are not following up developmental issues that affect us. And so we want to have an avenue through which we can vent so that we believe that they can hear us.
I see.
Sure.
So you think a demonstration is the best way to do that?
Obviously, because some have done that and they had results. You see, recently the NDC was even trying to engage the government to be able to have this budget that is also, go through. Among the issues they raised was what? The Skater Sea Defense project, that it should be part of it. We believe that you need to...
That was my colleague from the Bono region, engaging residents on development issues there. Now, Central Regional Correspondent Kingsley Nanabwedu joins us from Cape Coast, where plans are underway for the celebration of this year's Farmers' Day. Exhibition of farm produce and equipment, culture and tradition from the various regions began last Monday and will end today at the Adisadel School Park in Cape Coast. My colleague joins us with some more details as to how the region is preparing for this grand celebration. Kingsley, if you can hear me, what have you been gathering in terms of how farmers and workers along the value chain are preparing for this celebration?
Which is the grand endeavor for the Farmers' Day celebration. And like you have already indicated, right from Monday, there have been exhibitions of farm produce and, of course, culture and tradition from various parts of the country, that's the various regions. I must say that the forum and the exhibition ended yesterday, Wednesday, and today happens to be a forum, a farmers' forum, where the farmers converge at a particular place, that is at the Country Hotel, to discuss issues that are affecting farming and fishing, for instance. So I must indicate that that process is still ongoing. They are still discussing issues that are affecting farmers and the need for government and the banks and the NGOs and everybody to support farmers and fishing. So you also come into the system. Because when you go to the villages and go to the community, people that you see vigorously undertaking this agricultural activities that we are talking about happen to be growing old. So the event that they are no more.
Apologies for that bad audio. We'll try to re-establish connection with my colleague from the region to give us more as to how farmers and players across the value chain are preparing for this year's National Farmers Day celebration. I call it the Heroes Day, of course. Now, researchers at a 2-day West Africa Wetlands Conference in Accra are advocating for the reintroduction and enforcement of local regulations to save wetlands in Ghana. As of now, Ghana is on the verge of losing all her 5 wetlands, including that of the Sakumo, which is said to be in its worst form and no longer serving its purpose. The conference opened today, and my colleague Clara Milano has been bringing us some details on the meeting.
Residents of the Ketu South municipality are still reeling from the devastating effects of the recent tidal waves. The disaster is said to be one of the effects of damages caused to the Ketu Lagoon, which is also a wetland. Such is the case of the other 4 wetlands in Ghana: Fedensu, Songo, Munipumadze, and the Sakumo Ramsar sites dotted across the country. Conflicting interests, pollution, encroachment, cattle grazing, industrialization, population growth, and lack of enforcement have defeated the purpose of these important areas. According to a research conducted between 1980 and 2006, the world's mangrove vegetation has been depleted from 1.81 kilometers square to 1.37 kilometers square due to human activities on wetlands.
The wetlands act as a sponge when it rains heavily to absorb the water and then release it gradually for groundwater recharge. This will be lost, which means there will be more flooding, and these events, because of the changing climate, can only worsen.
The problem is not peculiar to Ghana. Most wetlands in West Africa are also under threats, and stakeholders are worried about what this portends for the sub-region.
Time to act is now. Otherwise, the ability of our wetlands to provide us with the needed ecosystem services will be reduced to nothing. This has negative implications on the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals.
With the world racing to keep temperatures at 1.5 degrees Celsius, it is believed effective collaboration will help check the trouble.
That is where I think we should head towards: people restoring their own ecosystems, Ghanaians protecting their own natural resources.
Scientists and environmentalists saw the challenge man could face with the loss of the world's biodiversity and ecosystems, and therefore designated certain areas as buffer zones known as wetlands. Ramsar sites, one of the most threatened habitats today, serve as shields against storms and floods. They are also natural harvesters of rainwater, check on erosion, and serve as habitats for migratory birds.
We'll go for a break. When we return, we'll be bringing you more about COVID-19 as the Ghana Enterprises Agency is to disburse the second tranche of the COVID-19 response grants in Accra. Good afternoon. My name is Maurice Ogbete. Got latest from the world of business. Now, the Ghana Enterprises Agency, GEA, is to disburse the second tranche of the COVID-19 response grant in Accra. More than 100 beneficiaries who qualified out of the 21,000 applicants who receive 8 million Ghana cedis in all. The COVID-19 response grant was initiated by government and the World Bank to support small and medium-scale enterprises to recover from the effects of COVID-19 to resuscitate their operations.
The total grant, which is 145 million cedis, is under the Ghana Economic Transformation Project, with focus on agro-processing, manufacturing, textiles and garments, food and beverages, pharmaceuticals and PPE producing companies. The grant, unlike the Coronavirus Alleviation Program Business Support Scheme, CABAS, which focused on micro, small and medium-scale enterprises, MSMEs, is solely for SMEs that have been impacted negatively by the pandemic. High on the condition of the grant is to ensure that beneficiaries employ more people to deal with the unemployment in the country. They would be monitored and audited to ensure that the funds are properly used. The grant is expected to support activities such as the purchase of raw materials, equipment purchases, and not to pay salaries. At the signing ceremony of the grant agreement with the beneficiaries, the team leader of the One District, One Factory project at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Mr. Kofi Addo, encouraged beneficiaries to be responsible with the funds.
Let's make sure that the money that comes in the form of a grant, in the form of a subsidy, in the form of anything, let us be able to account for every person.
The Chief Executive, Ghana Enterprises Agency, Mrs. Kosiyanki Aye, said given the rigorous nature of the selection process, the private sector must lead in job creation.
As much as possible, we'll say to them, be very disciplined, use the funds for what it is you're supposed to be used for, and use it to grow and build your business, because there's more where it came from. So what we'll do is that we'll do an assessment, and those who have done well, that we see have been able to move their businesses to the next level that can accelerate, we'll continue to provide support to them.
Depending on the activity of the business, beneficiaries would receive a minimum of 10,000 Ghana cedis and a maximum of 200,000 Ghana cedis.
Also in business, the Public Procurement Authority is seeking to shorten the long bureaucratic process of tendering and gradually eliminate all manual processes in the tendering process. Members of the authority's National Steering Committee have thus gone through a practical training on the use of the Ghana electronic procurement system. The training was to equip them on how to tender in document electronically.
The Ghana Electronic Procurement System, GHANEPS, is a web-based and collaborative system developed in accordance with the requirements of public procurement laws. The system helps in facilitating public procurement processes in Ghana and offers a secure, interactive and a dynamic environment for carrying out procurement of all categories, complexity or value. GHANEPS supports processes of procuring goods, works, consultancy, non-consultancy and disposal of assets among other procedures. To make the system implementation more effective, the PPA has offered a practical training for its National Steering Committee members. They were taken through the process of opening bids, tender coordination, opening and evaluation panel. The country manager, Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, Madame Stella Addo, mentioned some challenges associated with the manual process.
Previously, participating in a tender in Ho or Kumasi, you had to go all the way to Ho or Kumasi to go and buy the tender document and then also make your submission. Now, GHANEPS makes it easy. At one spot, wherever you are sitting, so far as you have electronic system and be able to get an internet or something to connect, you are able to sit at that spot and assess as a supplier.
The Deputy Chief Executive and leader of the GHANEPS implementation team, Mr. Kwame Prempe, said the system has undergone security and performance testing to ensure safety.
In terms of security, I mean, the system has gone through all testing, including security and performance testing. Right, so it's quite assured that it is safe. Right, but there's also a backup to the primary system. So if anything at all was to happen to the primary system, automatically, the system falls over to the primary system, and then the backup will then be,
GHANEPS will also help in addressing issues related to corruption.
Ghana's transit trade is estimated to generate $34 million annually. Speaking at a forum on transit trade at Bolkatanga, the chief executive of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Ms. Benoni Bismarck, said transit trade had become a significant component of the country's economy and it promotes trade between Ghana and the ECOWAS sub-region.
The Transit Trade Seminar was to deliberate on how to make the country's transit corridor the preferred path and also facilitate the growth of transit trade in the interest of national development. It was also to address concerns relating to the conduct of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department (MTTD) officers deployed along the corridor. The Ashanti Regional Manager of the Ghana Shippers Authority, Mr. Isaac Tessia Akwe, spoke of the benefits Ghana is making through transit trade.
Along Ghana's major corridors and quarterly fact-finding trips have revealed several road governance challenges involving transit truck drivers. Key state actors such as the Police MTTD, Customs of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the Ghana Highway Authority.
The Deputy Upper East Regional Police Commander, DCOP Alexander Amenyo, spoke of steps the police are taking to ensure sanity on the country's transit corridors.
There should be certain things which can make the police, the policemen, the patrolmen, throughout this route up to Techima, even to Tema. Yes, we resolve that. They must have something to get the transit vehicle easily identified. That one couldn't manifest.
The Ghana Shippers Authority said an intense collaboration with the police in facilitating transit trade along the country's road corridors was crucial to ensure the safety of truck drivers and transit cargoes.
And that was business, the international news. After this break, stay with us.